Uh, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. After praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and sending peace upon His Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Sheikh is welcoming everyone to this new episode of the Fatwa Night from Mishka Center in Houston, Texas. Um, the first question is about like the end of the life of a Muslim or a mu'min. And the question is about, does everybody get that fitna of shaitan at the time of death, such that that shaitan can actually decorate that moment of like uh, like uh, uh, stay away from Islam or do like irtidad from Islam. So Sheikh says there is no doubt that this moment of death or the time of death is a very harsh time. Uh, and shaitan will not let that moment without coming and try to whisper or to do something to hurt you. That's all for the son of Adam. It's his last chance to twist you or change your life from good to bad or so. So Jabir Jabir, may Allah subhanahu be pleased with him, said, I have heard the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, the shaitan indeed comes to any one of you or some of you at everything, every affair or every issue of his life, and that was narrated by Muslim. So as you know, death is a part of that, affairs of this life. So if the shaitan finds out that this hardship is so hard on the mu'min, and he would come to him in order to just spoil that that iman, or change that iman of that mu'min, so that person would be among the people of the hellfire. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to ask or seek refuge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, such that the shaitan cannot come to him at that moment of death. As the hadith of Abil Yusr, may Allah subhanahu be pleased with him, said the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to make dua and say, "O Allah, I seek refuge by you from like different things, like the al-haram, which is like to be too old without without good health or so. Among these was just like the shaitan at the moment of death. So Al-Khattabi said the Prophet ﷺ, when he seek that, when he make that dua to seek refuge of Allah or by Allah from that shaitan to come to him at the moment of death, that means the shaitan is with us all the times, even at this moment. It's a very strong fitna, it's a very strong trial or test for the mu'min at this moment. So remember that the Prophet ﷺ used to also ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, seeking refuge from, or one of them is the punishment of the hellfire, the second one is the punishment of the grave, and the third one was the fitna of the al-Masih al-Dajjal, the Antichrist. and the last one was the fitna of the life and death. So it was, narrated or proved or mentioned in the Sunnah what it could be actually an evidence that the shaitan would come to the son of Adam in a form of the most beloved person to the person who's actually dying, and then he started calling him to Christianity or Judaism. So some of the scholars said that in their books, and there were many stories about that. Um, it's like again stories or events or incidents that narrated or listed in many of the scholars' books. It's not actually mentioned in the books of hadith. I don't know any chapter or any book that has like sunnah, authentic sunnah that would actually take could be taken as an evidence of that fitna that every person at the moment of death would actually be exposed to. Sheikh is concluding that is not fitna that everybody would be exposed to. It might be actually, come to some people. Um, my brothers and sisters, we have completed the day of Arafah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our good deeds of what we said and what we did, just both action and saying. Remember that was one of the Jews came to Umar, Amir al-Mu'mineen, Umar ibn al-Khattab, and told him, there is an ayah in your book, you recite it. If this ayah was revealed to us or descended to us, the children or the Jews, we would have taken that day Eid. So Omar asked him, which ayah? He said, the ayah when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, today I have completed your deen, or for you your deen, and I fulfilled my ni'mah on you, and I would satisfied or accepted that Islam to be your deen. That was Surah Ma'idah. So Omar said, we know the day and the place that this ayah was revealed on the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was standing on Arafah on a day of Jum'ah. So this day is a day of Eid for those people. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the day of Arafah and the day of Qurbani and the days of Tashriq, the 3 days, the 11th and the 12th and the 13th of Dhul Hijjah, are days of food and drink. And Umar also narrated that I remember that day of the ayah when the ayah was revealed to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It was on a day of Jum'ah, the day of Arafah, and both of them, by the grace of Allah, are Eid to us. Remember that this day Allah subhanahu has sworn by. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not swear by anything but a great thing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Shahid wa mashhud, in the surah of Buruj, verse number 3. So Abu Huraira, may Allah subhanahu be pleased with him, said the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the day, anticipated day, or the day, the promised day, is the day of judgment. And the day that be witnessed is going to be the day of Arafah. And the witness is going to be the day of Jum'ah. Uh, as you know, the Siyam or fasting, the day of Arafah, it's going to wipe 2 years. As the Prophet ﷺ said, it's going to actually, cover or wipe 2 years, the past year and the coming year. And that hadith was narrated by Muslim. So for the person who are not performing Hajj, so the Hajj cannot fast on the day of Arafah, because the Prophet ﷺ made nahi of that psalm of the fasting of the Arafah day. It is the day that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taken the covenant over the children of Adam, or the offspring of Adam. So also this day is a day that many people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will free them from the hellfire. The slaves of Allah, or of the people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the day of Arafah will free many of them on that day of Arafah. So what about the day of Eid? So the first thing we could do in that day, we make ightisal. So like this ghusl on the day of Eid, it's actually something like the Prophet ﷺ mentioned that it's one of the most beloved thing that he would do. As you know, the Salat of Eid didn't come to the Masjid Salah or al-Khala, or the space. The Salatul Eid is like Sunnah Mu'akkada. Muslims should actually keep doing that. Even the young children should actually attend that. Some of the scholars said it's wajib. Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam asked everybody to go, even the ladies with during this period, or during the time of Haid. He asked them to go to, but the one who is on the time of Haid should just avoid the location of the Salah. As you know, the Salat of Eid, 2 rak'ahs. The first rak'ah, two rak'ahs. Adhan and Iqamah are just once. There is no Adhan and Iqamah. It's just like one time you do like both Adhan and Iqamah. So there is, again, there is no Adhan nor Iqamah for Eid. It's not narrated. It's not narrated by anybody that he did that. All Sahaba, they said, I prayed with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam Eid twice. So he started Salah and then he made the khutbah without Adhan, without Iqamah. So the description of that Salah, as you know, like so as Sheikh says, There are like seven takbirat for the first rakah and the five takbirat for the second rakah. Seven takbirat except the takbirat al-ihram, and then the five except the one that you stand up after your sujood from the first one. So also Sahaba or the companions of the Prophet ﷺ said the Prophet ﷺ used to raise his hands with every takbir. So uh, among the sunnah that the people use or the Prophet and his companions used to do is the takbir, even in their day to the masjid or the place of salat. So that was the hadi of the Salaf at that time, in the 10 days of, and it's actually to be done from the first day of the month of the Hijjah till the last of the Asr or after Asr of the 13th day of the Hijjah. So it should, congratulating people by the Eid is something like mubah. Sahaba themselves used to do that. Ibn Qudama and Ibn Aqil said, you're okay to just to congratulate each other for that Eid. So they used to say, تقبل الله منا ومنك. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from us and you. And Ahmad said it's a good hadith. Among the things that people used to do in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, they used to go from one road or one way and come from the other to their house. So the Prophet ﷺ used to do that, like changing the road or the way of going to the musalla and then the way of coming back to his place or his home. It's among the sunnah that people do not eat anything until they pray the Eid. So the Prophet ﷺ used to go to the day of Fitr. He never actually left home on the day of Fitr until he break his fast or eat something. But on the day of Qurbani or Adha, he used to wait until he complete the prayer of Adha. So after the Salah, the Prophet ﷺ used to slaughter his Qurbani. If he actually perfect the way of slaughtering, and then he should eat from it, should gift some of it to neighbors and relatives, and should make sadaqah on the needy people, and he could actually maybe like he can keep some for himself later. As Sheikh says, the slaughter or the qurbani should be among what's called bahimatul an'am. It was narrated that the Prophet ﷺ had brought two big, nice lamb with like horns, and he slaughtered them by his hand, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then he mentioned the name of Allah. He made takbir, and he asked us not to elongate the time of the slaughtering, like shorten, and because that's kind of like torturing to the animal. So try to shorten that time. And he, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, slaughtered that. Which question? No. What question is actually taken? I also got lost here. This one here, maybe. Hmm. So there was a question that came to the sheikh. I couldn't actually follow that question. It was very quick. I think it's about like who would uh, be considered a kafir, for example, or disbeliever. And sheikh says, "This is not your business, my son." Like that the one who sent the question. Only the scholars who can actually put their opinions in that. Like for example, I think the one who sent the question is talking about like the people here, for example. So they didn't know anything. Maybe they didn't know anything about Islam because they knew about Islam from, for example, the media, from like the preacher at the church, or the anybody, or maybe like the weakness of the ummah, the Muslim ummah, uh, and that status that the Muslim ummah is facing right now, so weak, not productive, not like good ummah. So the other people, the other nations, or the other people who follow another faith, for example, they are not impressed by this status of the ummah. So uh, judging somebody or prejudging somebody and claiming that this person is gonna be in heaven or not, or Muslim, or this person is kafir, or again, it's not the individual's business. That's an affair that should be actually discussed only amongst the scholars. So what about those people actually that they receive like the wrong message? They have like corrupted message from the media or about Islam. So the Sheikh says, well, such people will be brought to in front of before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will test them on the day of Qiyamah. So and also the people in the interval, like there was no prophet during that time between two prophets. The conclusion, my brother or my son. So so like some people said, whoever does not believe in Islam, he's gonna be in heaven. So Sheikh says that's not true. We cannot just take this one because it's against what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said in the Quran. Inna dina, indeed, the deen in the eyes of Allah is Islam. But again, there are some special cases that are going to be handled by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on day of judgment, and we have given some of them, like the people who live during intervals, the people that receive like a corrupted message about Islam. And then remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not be punishing anybody unless we send a messenger or a prophet. And then remember the ayah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when he says in the Quran, every group coming to the hellfire. So they will be asked, you did not receive a nadhir, a messenger, so that means they will say indeed yes until the end of the or that verse. But in the end, they will actually make a clear confession. So nobody's gonna enter the hellfire until he or she would make that clear or makes that clear confession. Some somebody says if seven people share in one kurbani like a cow, so the butcher should the butcher have like the list of the seven people that share that? So Al Hanbali scholar said the butcher does not have to mention, for example, during the time of slaughtering that this is on behalf of X and Y and Z. No, he doesn't have to do that. If he mentioned that, that's fine. But if he doesn't know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows the niyyah of these people. Remember the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Indeed, all affairs or all deeds are by the niyyah. The last question, as Sheikh says, can we combine between Qurbani and Aqiqah? Somebody, for example, have a newborn, like like buy one get one free, like Sheikh. So again, making or combining the Qurbani and the Aqiqah for the newborn or the newborn baby. Combining Aqiqah and Qurbani, it's an issue that scholars actually has paid attention to. Some people accept it, some people didn't accept. Maliki and Shafi'i did not allow that. So they said those who actually did not accept that, they said each one has a specific reason. So again, two different reasons or two different causes, each one is for. Hanafi, they said they said both of them are done to, for the sake of Allah, to seek like being close to Allah, qurba to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they give an example. If, like, for example, Eid comes on a day of Friday, will the person is going to make ghusl, tahara, for the Eid, and somebody else, no, he's actually doing that for Juma. So either one can actually be good for both. But Sheikh says if you do them individually, that would be actually, as Sheikh says, that would be considered the best decision or the best choice. Next question, somebody saying we get like a letter of credit from a bank to do business. So this letter of credit is uh, so you cannot give any wage for that or fees for that, or like the fees that come from the bank, for example, is jaiz, but do not pay anything extra. So like you spend some time. Like given Sheikh is giving an example, like somebody has a like an organization or like uh, you know for like قرض حسن or a good loan with no interest, but he's gonna actually rent a place and then hire some people to work out this kind of like business. So they could actually charge people like fees, but it's just like little bit of fees, just for that kind of like business they do. My beloved brothers and sisters, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you in this day. Happy Eid to all of you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring us to all the goodness. I have to make an apology for those who sent some questions, but we didn't have enough time to tackle them. We are gonna try to answer all of them next episode, inshallah. Until we meet again after the few days of Eid al-Adha. جزاكم الله خيرا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.